party.
Oh, so you actually wouldn't have had to.
That would be his excuse.
Okay, Dafnun Hey. Again, the Mishnah is continuing different terms, what they mean by Nedarim, and we said a few times that it has to do with Lashon Bnei Adam, and it's subject to change. So I don't know. Again, I don't know why the Mishnah goes to length to talk about different terms, since it's only dependent on the time and place, so it doesn't have halacha that you can learn. I don't know. There are many Masechtas where this comes up, so here it's very elaborate. I'm not sure. So the question is the word dagan. This Mishnah talks about the word dagan and the word tvua. Dagan is usually translated as grain, and so is tvua. What does that mean in Lashon Bnei Adam? Another min tvua aser last one dagan. I'm sorry. Aser b'pol mitzvah yavish dibra of meir. The word dagan, the Chachamim say, let's skip a second. The Chachamim say dagan only means the 5 grains. The 5 grains, what are they? Wheat and barley. Oats, spelt, and rye. Oats maybe is questionable, but that's what people translate it as. But Meir says that in Lashon, even though he agrees that in the Torah that's what the word dagan might mean, but in Lashon Bnei Adam he says that it refers to anything which is piled. And the Gemara is going to say that right away. That's Pshat Meir. And therefore, Pola Mitzri, we said before, Pola Mitzri spoke about Yerakos. The previous Mishnah spoke about Pola Mitzri, Lach, Yavesh, and they usually translate Pola Mitzri to be in harakat beans. Harakat beans, I think it's like string beans of some sort. But there's a difference if it's Yavesh or Lach. Before we said that if it's Lach, it's considered a Yerek. Here, if it's Yavesh, it's bean, but we call it bean. Are they considered dagan? Is that also considered dagan? So Meir says yes, since it's piled up, the same way that grain is piled up. So these beans are also, I guess, all kinds of legumes. I'm not sure, but it's Pola Mitzri. So Meir says that's also considered dagan. But the Chacham say no, dagan only means the 5 grains. But Meir continues to say, I do agree that tvua is only the 5 grains.
Next page.
But Meir does agree that tvua is only the 5 grains, but dagan, he says, means anything which is piled up. But Meir Omer, I know them in a tvua in Asel Chameshes Haminim. Any kind of thing that's piled up, like grain, which even if it's not the 5 grains, but that doesn't include fruits and vegetables. Peres ilan, what we call fruit, and yorak, vegetables. So those things are not included in the word dagan, they're not piled up. But dagan, anything that's piled up. As far as the Mishnah say, tvua, what Meir says is only the 5 grains, but dagan is a machlokes. The Chachamim say that it's only the 5 grains, but Rameir says dagan is anything that is piled. But he also agrees that Peres ilan and Yorok, that they don't pile them up as they store them, so that's not called dagan. The Gemara is going to attack Rav Meir. The name of the dagan called the Midgan Mashma. The Gemara is asking Rav Meir. Rav Meir says dagan means anything that is piled up. Is that so? Must have Yosef a kasha from a pasuk in Divrei Hayamin. Over there, it's talking about that Chizkiyahu, the king Chizkiyahu, he made a takana to people to get to giving Trumas and Maisros. There was some, the people were lax in giving Trumas and Maisros, so he made a chizuk, and then it says, says on the side, that people, they like was an outbreak of in a good way, that people started giving more. So it says when they did it, so Bnei Israel increased. The Reishis Dagan, the Rosh V'Yitzor, the first means like Shumas HaMais is the first or the best, whatever the percentage of Dagan, Tirish V'Yitzor, says the word Dagan over there. B'chol Tvuas HaSodel Arov, and all kinds of produce in abundance. So they gave a lot of Shumas HaMais. But the question is, if the word Dagan already means not only the 5 grains, so that means anything. We'll say anything means anything which is piled up. So what does the pasuk say that they also gave B'chol Tvuas HaSodel Arov? That they gave everything. They said it already. Say the word dagan means everything already. According to Rabbanan, dagan only means the 5 grains. So Tvuas Sadeh is coming to include more. But if dagan means everything, so then why is Tvuas Sadeh coming to add? The Yamar dagan called the Midgar Mashma, Ma'ikir Prot Sadovar, Herbu. If the word dagan already means anything that's piled up, so why does the pasuk say that they increased? The Rishonim say that it's asking for the end of the pasuk, not the Prot Sadovar Herbu. What does it mean? B'chol Tvuas Sadeh L'ro. What does it mean that they gave kol tvuas asad? That says already they gave dagan. Dagan means everything. So simple answer. Yeah, even though Meir says that dagan doesn't only mean the 5 grains, it even means anything that's piled up, but only those things that are piled up. But there are other things, vegetables, fruits, that the Mishnah itself says that is not included in Dagan, even according to Reb Meir, like the end of the Mishnah, it says also bakol and mutar b'peros ilim v'yora. So that's what the pasuk says over there, that they gave trumas and ma'asos even from vegetables, even from peros and ilan. That's the point of the pasuk, to say more than Dagan. According to Rabbanan, Dagan only means the 5 grains. According to Reb Meir, Dagan means anything what? Anything that's also similar to grain. But he also agrees it doesn't include everything. And the pasuk over there says that they gave more than they had to, more than the Dagan. That means they even gave from trees, fruits and vegetables.
What is cut fruits?
Kiprot. The word pierce means like when it breaches forth. There was like an outbreak of enthusiasm, and they gave even more than they had to. Oh, yeah, this week's parsha, yeah, parrots and Zorah. It's like, what did you break out? So here it means that the issue about giving trumas and maasros, there was an outbreak in a good way. Maybe a better word in English than outbreak, but it means that it was very enthusiastic and they did more than they had to. So the Gemara answers Rav Meir. Also, Rav Meir is not difficult. Over there, the word Dagan either might mean the 5 grains according to Rabbanan. That might mean what? Outpouring. Very nice. Outpouring. Yeah. Okay, so that was about Dagan. Machlokes Rav Meir and Rabbanan what Dagan means. In the Mishnah, when it talks about Tvua, only Rav Meir speaks. So let's scroll back to the Mishnah. Rav Meir is the one who said that Tvua means the 5 grains. Means he didn't excuse himself, but he explained. I also agree that Tvua only means the 5, but Dagan means more. But only Rav Meir is the one who speaks about Tvua in the Mishnah. So the Gemara wants to know what the Rabbanan hold. And the Rabbanan say in the Mishnah that Dagan only means 5. There's a possibility, maybe there was a thought to say that maybe they're arguing opposite, that according to Rabbanan, according to Rav Meir, Dagan means more than the 5, and Tvua means only 5. Maybe the Rabbanan will hold the opposite, that Dagan means only the 5, and maybe Tvua means more. So the Gemara says, no, everybody holds that Tvua only means 5. Everybody agrees. Means everybody, that's not the machlokes, and the Rabbanan not going to hold the opposite. Everybody holds Tvua only means the 5, and the chiddush was the issue is what Dagan means, but Tvua everybody holds. That the Rabbanan are not arguing about Tvua. That everybody agrees that Tvua only means the 5 grains. The machlokes is only by Dagan. Pshita. That goes. Why is it a chiddush that Rabbanan agree to Tvua? That it's that Rabbanan agree.
That's only the 5.
That not agree. That everybody yet. Rabbanan agree to Rav Meir that Tvua is only 5. You might think that the word Tvua means. What's the word Tvua means? They say like the word produce, like whatever it brings forth. So you might think that it means more. Call everything. You might have thought that Tvua means more. It means everything. That does mean everything. And even though only Rav Meir says it in the Mishnah, he's come to explain that I hold that Dagan is more than the 5, but I agree that Tvua is only the 5. Surely hold both of them are only 5. Dagan and Tvua, one hold both of them are only 5. Do you have any more Gemaras? Okay. Oh, you can use this one. I'm not using it. I'm not. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay. I must say Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef asked on. So here the Rishonim said that really is asking everybody. Here it says in the end of the pasuk, it says that where's the pasuk again? It's a couple of lines ago. Here the Gemara doesn't mean the whole pasuk. It says so before we had a question, what does the word Dagan mean? Does Dagan mean only the 5? It doesn't mean more, even things that are piled up besides the 5 grains. But then the pasuk says they gave more than the Dagan. What did they give? Kol Tvua Sadeh. But if you're saying that Tvua just means the 5, so according to nobody, doesn't make sense according to anybody. If the Dagan only meant 5, Tvua again means only 5. And if Dagan meant more than Tvua surely doesn't make sense that it says that Dagan meant not only the 5 grains, and then Tvua means only the 5 grains. Means the pasuk doesn't read. If you say that Tvua is only 5 grains, so how could it say it's saying they gave the Dagan and they gave Tvua, and they gave a lot? What does that mean? If you say Dagan means, if Tvua only means the 5, so it's not more than Dagan. Either maybe it's even less than Dagan. According to Rabbanan, both of them mean the 5 grains. According to Rav Meir, Dagan means more than the 5 grains, and then it says they gave more than the 5 grains, and they gave the whole Tvua Sadeh. Doesn't read if Tvua means only the 5 grains. So the Gemara answers. That's the kasha of Yosef, etc. The pasuk says that they gave Dagan and they gave Kol Tvua Sadeh, saying Tvua only means the 5. The answer is Amrava Tvua L'chud, the Tvua Sadeh L'chud. If it only would have said Tvua, you're right, it wouldn't have made sense. But it says Kol Tvua Sadeh. Kol Tvua Sadeh means all kinds of produce. So that everybody has to hold that if who in the pasuk when it says who are there, then it means even more than the 5 grains. The Gemara brings a story. It starts off Bar Mar Shmuel, the son of Mar
What did
Shmuel.
Amarava say? I'm sorry, what did he?
Tavua lachud, tavua sada lachud. There's a difference if it says the word tavua or if it says the word tavua sadeh. The word tavua means only the 5 grains, but tavua sadeh means more. Anything that grows in the field, all kinds of produce. Bar Mar Shmuel. It says, I think Mar Shmuel is usually Shmuel, and Bar Mar Shmuel would mean the son of Shmuel. But I thought Shmuel didn't have any sons. Put that on the side. And I think, I don't know. Bar Mar Shmuel, so here's the story. Bar Mar Shmuel Pakid, the Litnan place Alfi Zuzi Lerova, Min Atlanta than Harpanya. Bar Mar Shmuel commanded, he I don't know what the Pakid is to command. So I don't know what he was in charge of. He authorized. I don't know what it was. I don't know who he was, who that he gave, he said that they should give 12,000 zuz to Rava from the Alalta, that's going to be our word, Alalta is Aramaic word, from the Alalta of Nahar Panya. Usually the word Alalta is, not usually, the Targum of the word Tvua is Alalta, which is usually translated as produce. The same way the word Tvua is translated as produce, so Alalta is the Aramaic word for Tvua. So whatever this was talking, I don't know if it's Yerusha, he's giving a present, I don't know what it is, or he was the governor, I don't know what the case was, but he ordered that they should be given, 13, I said maybe I made a mistake, 13,000 zuz to Rava from the Alalta of Nahar Panya. Nahar Panya is the name of a place, and that was his instructions, his orders. So
and we're saying Alalta is
the Aramaic term for Tvua, which whatever you say Tvua, whatever you want to translate Tvua, that's how you're going to translate Alalta probably. That's what the Gemara is going to talk about. So the Rava wanted to know, what does Alalta mean? It means, what is it halachic implication? What is he allowed to, maybe he was giving a present or from his estate, I don't know. But he wanted to know from what is he eligible to get this 13,000 zuz from, Alalta. So Shalcha Rabba l'kamedu Rav Yosef, Alalta echim bekaria. So Rabba sent the question to Rav Yosef, who is his Rebbe, I think.
Wait, what's the Pania? The
Nahar Panya, name of a place.
Oh.
Like Nahar Doa, so this is Nahar Panya. Probably next to a river. So Shalcha Rabba l'kamedu Rav Yosef. So Rabba sent the question to Rav Yosef. Alalta echim bekaria. What is called Alalta? What is the word Alalta? And of course, he knows the Aramaic term that it means to war, but what does it include? Rav Yosef, so Rav Yosef sent, or he said, he said that it's a Mishnah to know what Alalta means. Everybody knows that Alalta is Tvua. It's our Mishnah. It says in our Mishnah that the word Tvua, everybody agrees, the Gemara says, that the word Tvua just means the 5 grains. So that's all. So you can collect 13,000 zuz from the 5 grains of Nahar Panya. Amalei Abaya, Sabaya was there when Rav Yosef said that. Sabaya challenged Rav Yosef. Amalei Abaya, midami, what's the comparison? The word Alalta to the word Tvua. You're right. It's true that that's the Aramaic translation, but it still has a different connotation. We're talking about Lashon Bnei Adam. We're talking about how people talk. So people, even when they say Tvua, they mean one thing, and when they say Alalta, they mean something else. Tvua la mashma la mechamesh aminim, but Alalta kol mile mashma. It's true that Tvua only means 5. That's what the Mishnah says. And we're all talking about Lashon Bnei Adam, but Alalta in Lashon Bnei Adam means everything. So you shouldn't learn out from this Mishnah that Rabba only could collect from the 5 grains of Nahar Panya. You can't collect from anything of Nahar Panya. So they sent back this to Rabba. Means Rabba sent the question. Rav Yosef said the answer, and Abai challenged Rav Yosef. And they told back the whole story to Rabba. So Rabba said, that wasn't my question, B'chlal. I knew for sure that wasn't my question. That wasn't my question, the Lalta Komili Mashma. I wasn't questioning if it meant the 5 grains or everything. I had the following question. For sure it means everything that grows, but maybe it means even more than what grows.
I had something else.
Were you reading? This is what I had. This is my question. First, in the second line, it says, Hada means this. This is what my question was. Hada zos. In the second white line, that was not a question to me that Alalta means anything. This was my question. Income from housing, rentals, and rentals of ships, other kinds of income that don't grow. Rav Yosef thought the question was if it's anything that grows or only the 5 grains. He says only the 5 grains. If I said no, everything that grows. Rabbi said, I knew that. I know everything that grows. Surely, maybe even more. Maybe it even includes also other kinds of incomes.
Houses and ships.
Right, the income from houses and incomes of ships, or whatever they have, a trucking company, whatever, other kinds of incomes. I guess the Sfinos, but had in Harpanya, I guess it was on a river, so that was the shipping industry over there. So then why does he have a question? I don't understand the Tutzadim. The word Pachsa means that it gets worth less, right? Devaluation. So there's devaluation on the houses. I guess somebody said that Team the Russia is because sometimes the schar is lower, more or less. I would think I don't understand that because everything gets worth more or less. Sometimes the fruit also, but I thought that means that it gets worn out. That the houses, when you have something for rent, it itself gets worn out, so it gets devalued. So therefore, what? Therefore, it's not called income. I don't understand the Tutzadim either. That since this, how do they translate Pachsa? Anybody have a? What was Rashi saying? That's I saw the Rush. This is Rashi. Rashi says not that it gets devalued because of it gets worn out.
We're
Because
talking
of
about
the houses and the boats. So
worn out where the grain doesn't.
and the grain is grain. Grain is if the produce doesn't get worn out. Then maybe the field gets worn out. What?
Get rot. We're talking about in the fields.
You get whatever the produce is, you got the produce. The fact that it gets eventually nothing lasts forever, that's something else. But here the point is that the income that you get from the house, the fact that the house is getting devalued as it lasts, that's giving produce, but it like the field, the parallel to the house would be the field that's producing it. If the field does get worn out, does the field get worn out the more that you use it or not? No, so, but the houses get worn out. The more that you use it, you rent it out, so it gets devalued.
Or the ships.
Or the ships also, right? The ships also. Is that a reason why the income shouldn't be called income? Well, you don't know, maybe you have to know how to calculate how much income there was, because even though you had income, but also the ship devalued, so that's not called income. I don't understand the Tutzadim of the question.
That's like a taxi driver. These cars after 10 years is not.
Yeah, that's right. So that's the reason why. That's the reason why income is not called income.
The grain is always the same value, but the house is not. So it's
and therefore it's not called
included
income.
in the grain.
It's not included in the word income. Alalta. It's not called income. It's not called produce. The word produce. Alalta means produce. It's not called produce. Or income is even a good word. Or since you don't know how much it gets devalued, so therefore it is called produce. So I don't really understand the two sides of the question. But that's why. But he had it out to say that not only things that grow, but also other incomes also, and that was his question. And Rav Yosef didn't understand this question. Rav Yosef thought his question was, is it only the 5 grains or is it all produce? And Rav Yosef said it's only the 5 grains. And Abaye challenged him and said, no, it doesn't only mean the 5 grains. But Rabbi said, I meant much more. I knew that I meant everything that grows. I thought I have it out to say maybe it even means other incomes. The Gemara doesn't say the answer
Sounds
to
like
Rabbi's question.
no?
What?
It sounds more like a drush.
What's a drush?
Rabbi, he's saying
What's
it's
a
coming
drush?
from a different meaning. No, I mean,
I'm not following.
everybody's saying that alalta is real, is something to do with food. Now,
No, it's not a drush. The word, you could say it has to do with words. That has to do with
it's a different word.
people ways of talking. The word income by us would surely include other kinds of income. Yeah, okay, and alalta means coming in. You know,
Coming in, right.
it really and produce. The word produce by us, the word produce probably means only what grows. But somebody could, production already doesn't mean only produce. It depends on the way you use the word.
How many jerseys, sweaters you make every year?
So you also call that produce. The way people say the word produce now, you might probably also only mean a growth produce. You see, probably. But the question was how people talk when people say the word alalta. What do they mean? Anyway, Rava's question that he really had, no one understood his question. That was his real question. He said that, but Rav Yosef thought that it's only the 5 grains. What about it? Surely it's all kinds of growth. The question was if it's even things that are not growth. Amrua Rabbanan kamed Rav Yosef. Then they told Rav Yosef what Rava replied. It means Rava sent the question to Rav Yosef, and then Abaye challenged Rav Yosef, and they brought back the information back to Rava, and Rava said what he thought. That was my question. And Rav Yosef then heard what happened. Rav Yosef heard what Rava had said when he got his reply.
Mm-hmm.
So Rav Yosef said, since he didn't need me, why did he ask me? Now, I don't understand the question because Rabbi thought that he did understand the question. I sent the question. Rabbi Yosef didn't understand it. But Rabbi said, I know that. Afshad means all kinds of things. I wanted to know if it means more. But Rabbi Yosef had a payda. He was upset that it wasn't Derech Eretz to send the question that you don't know, you don't need the answer. I don't know. Over here, I don't know what the taina was. But a regular case, this I do have application that people should know. The ask, is it fair? Is it proper to ask a question to a Rav as if it's halacha l'maisa when you don't really have the question? Is that a respectful thing to do?
What do you mean you don't have the question?
Is it a respectful thing to ask? You call it a posek, halacha l'maisa, as if it's halacha l'maisa. I had this experience. I heard a story about it. That someone wanted to know halachas, but he wanted to ask a Rav who's a posek, but he phrased the question as if it's halacha l'maisa.
As if he needed to know that.
As if he needed to know halacha,
And he was just doing it for
and
the
he just wanted to know the learning.
And he
I
didn't
think
say that.
I didn't say so. The Rav was upset at him. I think the question goes: if a woman after she went to the mikvah, she realized that she didn't cut her fingernail, so and then she sees, he asked he called the Rav as if it's halacha l'maisa. So the Rav said, which mikvah is that?
Like who?
Which mikvah is that? Why didn't they check? Why didn't they check? So he didn't know what to say. Like it wasn't any mikvah like that. But I think it's maybe not proper. It's not proper. This Gemara says it's not proper to ask a question to a Rav as if it's a question, or if the person knows the answer and he just is testing the Rav, whatever. It's a chutzpah to ask such a question. But I don't understand the Gemara over here because over here Rabbi really had a legitimate question. Rabbi Yosef didn't understand it. He didn't understand his question, so I'm not sure why Rabbi Yosef had explained over here.
Rabbi Epstein Zeches Halach Baruch Hashem Yitaisis Arash, I think in Harius, said that when a Rebbe is teaching his Talmidim, even though they could ask Shilas, is this halach? Is the halach like this? Is the halach like this? But if it's not Maisa, they're allowed to ask. But if somebody has a question about halacha, you should tell the Rebbe. Now it's halacha l'maisa.
Or else he might not give it as much seriousness if he doesn't know that's actually happened. Here's the opposite.
Very nice.
He's asking, he really knows the answer, and he's asking it just to find what the Rebbe is saying. How did Rebbe Yoel, Randall Kaplan, he said he was in the yeshiva when he came, I don't know exactly when, but he was teaching in the yeshiva that he realized that the boys are looking in the marsha to try to stump him. They asked the marsha's question. He realized that the boys are trying to stump him. So he left the yeshiva. He said, I'm not here, if you don't want to learn from me, so I'm the wrong Rebbe. If you're trying to find that you could stump me. So I don't know if that's the point of it, but that reminds me this issue that you don't ask a question only if you really mean it. So Yosef was makbid. He was upset that Rav asked him a question that he didn't need. Shama Rava, so Rava came to ask Mechila. And he came Erev Yom Kippur to ask him Mechila. Like we had the Gemara said, Erev Yom Kippur, he's supposed to make sure you got Mechila from anybody had the Machavera. Rav Yosef was blind. So Rava found the Shamish, the servant of Rav Yosef, that was pouring wine for him. They used to dilute wine. That's how they drank wine, diluted. So the Shamish was preparing the wine to give to Rav Yosef. Amalei, so Rava said, no, let me dilute, let me serve him the wine.
Who said?
Rava wanted
So the apology. He apologized.
He doesn't yet know who it is. This is Rava's way of getting in. Not getting in. It's a way of coming to Rav Yosef. It means he could have asked the Shamish, tell Rav Yosef that Rav was here, but he wanted to do it this way. He told the Shamish, can I take over your job a second and serve the wine?
Or to be Shamish Talmid Chacham.
No. I think what happened is what he wanted to do. Yavle, the Kamazig Havli Dimzig Le, no, Yavle. So he gave it to him. The Kamazig Iu Kasad the Chamar, and Rabba was the one who was diluting it. Kikashasi, when Rav Yosef drank the wine, he said, "This is not the regular way that people dilute wine." Amar Hadain Meziga, Dami the Meziga, the Rabba Beder Rabbi Yosef Bachama. This is Rabba's wine. Because Rabba was a famous shita that he's supposed to dilute the wine. 1 part wine, 3 parts water, and that's considered more the Rava. That was Rabba Shita. Rava says like that. They bring down. Rava says any wine that's not diluted to this proportion, 1 to 3, 1 part wine, 3 parts water is not wine. So, and most people probably didn't dilute it so much. So he knew this is Rava. This is Rava's wine. This is Rava's company.
There's more to
more diluted than usual. Than most people.
Which words did that go up to?
Here it just says that this wine, this meziga, it seems like the meziga of Rava.
The Rava period.
No. Rava's full name was Rava Beit Rav Yosef Bacham. The Stam Rava that we know, that's his real name.
Oh, really? That's his official name.
And that's his
That's what
father,
it was.
his father and
That's his
grandfather.
Ah, that's important. I mean, it's not.
Okay.
That's true.
Amalei, who knew? So he said, it's him. It is Rava's here.
Yeah.
Amalei, those states of Akar Rechad, obviously Pirusha Dadein Milsa. So Rav Yosef told Rava, those states of Akar literally means don't sit on your foot. I mean, that means when they used to sit on the floor, they used to sit on their feet. It's not a way of saying don't sit down. Don't sit down until you tell me the pshat in this pasuk. Neither sit. This is in Parshas Chukas where it talks about this is the Shira Ali Be'er and Nula. This is the Shira they said on the Be'er, the well of water that was miraculously giving water. So it says over there this pasuk. The pasuk on the pasuk is there are different places that the Be'er followed them wherever they needed water. So it was with them from Midbar to Matana, from Matana to Manachlio to the heights. But he wanted a drash. Rav Yosef told Rava, tell me a drash on this pasuk. Amalei. So Rava said, "Chivin she'osa adam esatzmo k'midbar shu mufka lakol Torah nitlo b'matana." So midbar matana. If a person makes himself like a midbar, that a midbar is hefker to everybody. He makes himself available to everybody to teach Torah. So then matana, he's going to get the Torah as a present.
Wow.
Shenama umi midbar matana. The next step is umi matana nachliel. The chivin shenitlo b'matana. Once he got the Torah as a present, nachalo el. What does nachalo el mean? Hashem takes him as his nachala. Is that what the pshat is?
Or the nachla of Torah, his Torah will become is from God to him.
It says after he gets the Torah, then nachalo el. I think the pshat is that Hashem takes him to be his nachla. But maybe I'm wrong.
Rashi on the bottom.
What does he say?
He puts together Nachliel, says Nasa Slight Hatayra Kamay Nachala. It becomes
So I don't see that in the Gemara. Nachalo el. Means Hashem is going to give after he knows, since the Torah was given as a present, then Hashem is going to give it to him as a nachala. Maybe okay. Why?
The gears from the Bach is Shanasalai Hatayra Kamay Nachala.
So I was fitting to the Gemara. Nachalo el, nichalo el, shenema umimatana nachliel. So a nachala is more than a matana. To get as a present, then it can be a nachla. Nachla is more. Okay, I understood.
Matana is just for the moment.
No, a matana is permanent. You don't think a matana is permanent. You get a matana, you got a matana. But a nachla is maybe more than a matana. Matana and it's a chuzas avois of something.
Yeah.
But I just look a second how they translate it, just to see their translation. Once he's given a gift, the Almighty makes it his inheritance. Hashem makes it his, I don't know, his inheritance. Makes it his without not a capital H. Okay, so like you said, Rashi, that Hashem makes that it should be his inheritance. Not that it should only be a present, but it should be his inheritance.
But
Yes?
with matana, you can use it well. You use it not the chas v'shalom, the opposite. Whereas the nachala is already in your otzar.
But a person can lose an achla also not.
No, but it's in his otzar. He's already earned it. It sits in his world to come.
But that's
It's like he said that a matana, anybody can give a matana, but
nachala.
it's something that's going to happen no matter what.
Okay,
It's something that's deserving of the
It might be something which is more inherent, that he gets a nachla means that it's his, it's from Yerush Savosa. It's not like a stay miknas, like a stay achuzah, something that he has from his forefathers. I'm not sure. And the next one is v'chimish enachal el odo legedula. The next step is uminachliel bamos. After that, he's going to go get up to greatness. Shenema uminachliel bamos.
This is the answer, Rabba.
Rabba, yeah. Rav Yosef said same shape shot in this pasuk, but not drash. Say drash in this pasuk. Midbar matana nachliel bamos. So he says the person makes himself like hefker, like a midbar, then he'll get Torah as a matana, then he'll get it as a nachla, and then he'll go up to greatness.
What's the greatness as opposed to nachla? Having a Torah as a nachla is the beautiful thing that it goes from generation to generation.
But how someone he goes back to the person becomes great. The person is going to become great. Great means in the yachas to the people. He's going to become a big whatever. And the next pasuk continues. It doesn't stop over there. It means tell me the whole pasuk. The pasuk continues. So he continues. Maybe I should just highlight the pasuk over there. The highlighting of the pasuk. Umibidbar matana, umimatana nachliel, nachliel bamos, umibamos hagai. So the next point is that if he becomes arrogant, he goes to Gedula. He's already a great person, so that he's in danger of getting arrogant.
Again, who's saying that? That's Rabbi again?
Rabbi still talking.
continue.
Wait a minute, he's saying that it's a good thing, it's a great thing, but it can be also derogatory.
He has to make sure that he gets great. When a
He
person
gets
gets great, now he's in danger of becoming arrogant.
Ah.
If he can become arrogant because of that greatness, he may give yes because Baruch Hu mashpilo. Shenema mibamos hagai. That's the next pasuk. After it says from Nafil to Bomos, the next stop was Bomos to Gai. So Gai means a valley. So from the heights, he's going to go to the valley. And then also it says in the pasuk when Nishkaf al Pnei Yishimon, below Odel is a shokin also bakaka. Shenem Nishkaf al Pnei Yishimon. He's going to go to the valley, not only to the ground level. He's even going to go deeper. Shokin is to
drown.
Sink him. What do you see in the pasuk when Nishkaf al Pnei Yishimon? I'm not sure what you see in this pasuk.
Yishiman is a kind of what do you call it?
A wasteland.
Wasteland.
But how do you see
It
that
sounds like
shokin also
Gehenna.
bakaka?
It sounds like that kind of land is like desert land.
So the question is, first of all, how do you see in the pasuk anything about shokin? I see in the bottom here where the asterisk is, it says right under sheshokfin, not sheshokin, but sheshokfin, and that would fit into the pasuk when nishkofa. So what does that have to do? So the Rashi here says also come on mashkov.
What is nishkofi?
Nishkofi it literally means that it's seen, like right, but yes, all means looking. But here, so that's the pasuk shop. But here he says something about shokfin also bakaka. So the drash over here says they make him like a mashkov. Rashi says Gemara mashkov, like so it means like mashkov usually we say means like a lintel, but it might mean also like a threshold. That it's not only on the ground, it's going to be like even lower than the ground. Anybody say pshat over here?
Taisa says sheshayk, he says lashon iskufa and it dresses.
Like a
It's a threshold that you're walking on.
threshold.
You know, people walk on you. You're going to be so low.
He's going to be even stepped on.
What's how Yishimon?
He doesn't say drush about that. In the drush, it doesn't say it. Yishimon usually means like a wasteland. In the pasuk pshat, but the Gemara doesn't see the drush in that. And then the drush goes further, but it's not. This is really not in the pasuk. And if he does do tshuva from his arrogance, he's not going to stay low. Then Hashem is going to lift him up again. And this Amud Beis is not a pasuk over here, but someplace else. Every low place will be elevated. So if a person does tshuva, it'll be elevated. What does it have to do with the whole story? Rav Yosef was upset at Rava came to ask Mechila, and he said the same shot in the pasuk. So Stam probably has something to do with the subject.
Who says
Oh,
that?
we never hear
Rav
him
Yosef
asking-
has tell me shot in the pasuk. Rava told
How are
him.
you coming up?
And the curtain.
We don't hear him asking the chila.
He asked Mechila.
No, he served him the wine. He didn't ask him. the wine.
I don't remember him saying.
He thought he served him the wine to go ask him mechila.
Yeah, but it was under. It doesn't say he finished, but it was understood that he came to ask him. That's why he came. That's why he came. Rav Yosef understood that. That's why he came.
Okay.
And then he says to save shot in the pasuk,
Oh.
and Rav said shot in the pasuk, and everything's good. What happened?
Yeah,
Nothing,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, you didn't say the run, the rest run.
So what does he say?
You say the rest run.
He said what?
My Dixil Midbar Matana, he says, Nischab Rav Yosef Lahazir Rava, Shishapa Ruch B'Yosef.
So this is the Rav said the shot in the pasuk, and that was what Rav Yosef wanted him to say. The point about the pasuk where it says Umiba Mos Hagai. This thing about Bamos Hagai, that if a person gets arrogant, so he'll be lowered. He considered it an arrogance. This is the Ran's trying to find what is the connection between the Dvar Torah and the issue over there.
Why is he asking
So
on
he
the spot?
told Rava because he knew what the drush is going to be. He knew what Rava was going to say. That's a little bit of a chiddush that Rava knew that Rav Yosef knew what Rava was going to darshan over there. And be Bamos Hagai, he didn't even say Bamos Hagai. He just told me what's part of the pasuk of Mebid B'Matana, Matan Nachliel Bamos. He stopped over there, and then Rava continued and said Bamos Hagai. So the Ran is saying that
That's what Rav Yosef wanted.
that's what the Ran says. That Rav Yosef wanted that Rav Yosef should dash in the pasuk and get up to Bamos Hagai. That if somebody elevates himself, so then arrogant, so then he's going to become lower.
But
And
we're
then
stuck
Rabbi-
with the fact that we thought he had a valid question.
Yeah. So that's I don't
That was just
understand. That was
understood.
so I don't understand what the problem was because he had a valid question. Rabbi Yosef didn't understand the question. But if you say for some reason that it was not proper to ask him, so that was considered a guide. And then Rabbi ended off from a different pasuk that he could do tshuva. This I'm even
Oh, it's a different pasuk?
Different pasuk. It's not over here. Palgei Yinaseh is a pasuk someplace else. That's a pasuk in where's that? Yeshaya Mem. Okay, so then I said,
what was
Rob was gonna say that you could do tshuva.
Okay,
So I'm doing tshuva and I'm coming to ask him a chiva and he's mochalim and everything's good.
What was the question? Sorry, what was the Ma'aseh Rabbi Yosef?
Right?
What was the question initially that there was a problem?
He asked, what does halal to mean? What does halal to mean? And what Rava meant to ask, does it include income of houses and ships? If Yosef thought the question was if it includes all produce or only 5 grains. He said only 5 grains. And Abai challenged him, said, no, it means there are all kinds of produce. And Rava said, of course it means all the produce. The question was if it means even house income from rentals and stuff. Okay. So as far as
Rabbi
Rava,
Yosef took offense?
yes. Why'd you ask me a question if you knew the answer? I didn't know the answer. I knew that it meant all kinds of produce. I wanted to know if it even means income. So I'm not sure why he was upset. But I do learn from here, you're not supposed to ask a question if you're not looking for the answer. The advice continues. The Tanya. We started. What does dogan mean? What is all these things? What the tvua? Tanya know that the men dogan. Also have to pull a mitzvah yovesh. This is what we're talking. The dogan includes not only the 5 grains. Rabban will say dogan is only the 5 grains, but the Meir says that anything which is piled up and stored like grain. So this rice is like a Meir. Also, pull a mitzvah yovesh if it's dried out. But mutar balach. We said before that lach is considered yirakos when it's beans that are not dried out yet, like string beans or something like that. So then it's not considered grain. Or mutar ba'orez a mutar rice. Rice is also not considered dagan because they don't pile it up when they store it. The chilka b'targas of a tisni. That's chopped
That's the
grain.
reason why ours is not a grain, because it doesn't get piled up.
No, you're talking about the 5 halachic 5 grains, only 5. That's because it's not considered. It doesn't make comments, whatever. But here we're talking about lashon b'nei adam. What do people call dagan? So if Rabban say only 5 grains, period. If Yosef says, Rav Meir says anything which is piled up when you store it, and orez is not, even according to him, orez is not included. We're not talking about the halachas of 5 grains over here. We're talking about lashon b'nei adam. So if Yosef says, Rav Meir says anything which is stored in piles, like grain, and even that he says orez is not included because orez is not stored that way. Everything time and place.
Things are other things.
And the chilka, tagas, and tisni. This is chopped grain, 3 different kinds, a half, a third, a quarter. When you chop grain into a smaller, like I don't know what to call it today. There's coarsely ground, and then finely ground, more finely ground. That's a chiddush over here because the whole grain you did ask yourself from dogan. Dogan includes grain, the wheat. But if you chopped it up, then it's not called anymore grain. So we had a couple of sugis already before that either it's already have been ground from the time he made the nether, it was already ground up. So he didn't mean that. He only meant things that are whole grain. Or we also had the sugya, the yotzim mehen, that it could be that he only answered the tzura. And even if he first, when he answered it, it was answered, but he only answered it in the tzura of a whole grain. Once you chopped it up, like we had cases over there of taking out the whey out of the milk or the brine out of the fish. So that depends on what he said.
Are you saying these 3 words are adjectives of how it's chopped?
Not adjectives, the noun of what it's called after it's chopped. Chilka is when grain is chopped in
He's
half.
talking about orez?
No. Orez is orez, and then chilka targis tisni
Are 3 different
it's grain
products
of
grain.
wheat, the wheat that you're going to chop into half, third, quarter.
That's why it's kilka.
Chilka, targis might sound like try, and tisni.
So
Okay,
yes, it's
quarter.
and right.
And this is a quarter. It goes to a 5th also. There's also a 5th one over there. Arsa. I know them in a Paris Hashana. If someone uses the term Paris Hashana, he asked himself with a nether on Paris Hashana.
This is a continuation of the
The Brisa, yeah, the Brisa. Also, b'chol Paris Hashana, or muter b'gdayim, or b'thlam, or b'cholav, or b'beitzim, or b'gazalos. That includes everything that's produced in the year, the produce of the year. But you don't say that when the new goats are born, the new sheep are born, you don't call that Paris Hashana, even though you might call it that they give pre-vehem tacha, it might be called also a pre, but people don't talk that way. So the newly born goats, the newly born sheep, chalav, milk also, you don't say that's considered a pre, people don't talk that way, even though it's a produce of the cow or the goat, and the eggs, and gozalos as the newly born birds. That's not how people call them. When people say Paris Hashana, it does mean things that grow. The mama gidulei shana also and if you use the term gidulei shana, not Paris Hashana, but gidulei shana, anything that grew this year. So then in the terms of those times and places, it included also even the animals that are born and the milk and the eggs and the chicks. How about the word Paris Haaretz? What does Paris Haaretz mean? I know them in Paris Haaretz, also behold Paris Haaretz, umutabek mena pitrias, that mushrooms and truffles. So we know truffles, everything's bought in truffles. So the truffles is some kind of expensive thing that doesn't grow. It's some kind of bacteria also that produces similar to mushrooms. We looked it up. It's very expensive.
What's the word?
Well, I forgot which is which, but
Main are mushrooms.
mushrooms and the pitrios are going to be these truffles. They say it's very expensive, and
Today we call mushroom.
today and today we don't call it kmein.
Right.
Okay, we call it pitrios. And which one is which? The truffles is which? Okay, I guess the other one is truffles. Anyways, things that don't grow from the ground.
I guess pitrios.
Pitrios what?
So main are mushrooms.
And now listen, Moshe said nowadays they call pitrios
Pitrios
mushroom.
Right.
Pitrios is mushroom.
Right.
They don't call kmein. So I don't know which is which. Okay. So they don't grow, so it's not Parasaurus, even though you have to have that, it should get the spores in the air, however it reproduces, but it's not growing from the ground. But if he said whatever gidule, not Peros, which means produces, Parasaurus, the earth produces it, the earth doesn't produce it. If he says gedula kaka, then it does include even kmein and pitrios. Bimini, although she gedula min oretz, someone shakal near b'dvaro. V'tanya lamelach v'alazamis fal kmein and pitrios, someone shakal near b'dvaro. What bracha do you say on these mushrooms and truffles? You say shahako. Why? Because it doesn't grow from the ground. Ein gedula, and it says ein gedula min oretz. Over there it says it doesn't grow. The word gedula kaka, gedula min oretz. You said that if he says Parasaurus, it doesn't include mushrooms. If you say Gedula Kaka, it does include mushrooms.
Don't they grow on trees and things like that? They grow, they fungi.
They can grow on a stem, they can grow on a wire also.
Right.
So that's nothing to do with, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't, here it does say that, here it says it is called Gedula Kaka. It does happen to grow on the Kaka, but it doesn't absorb, it doesn't get unique, it doesn't get nutrition from it.
Really?
So that's it's not like a plant. So that's the Gemara's kasha. Here it says Gedula Kaka does include the term Gedula Kaka does include kmein and pitrios. The Mishnah Bracha says that it does not, because it says that the kober for shakol is if it's not Gedula min haaretz. If it's Gedula min haaretz, it won't say shakol. And it says over there that kmein and pitrios says shakol. That sounds like it's not called Gedula min haaretz. So it's a contract, and you're saying here that it is called Gedula Kaka. The simple answer would be Lashon B'nei Adam, what people call it. But anyway, the Gemara says we have to change the Mishnah over there a little bit. It does, the word mirba means to grow, the culture, it means it, I don't know how to say a good word. It doesn't get unika. It's reproduction, it's growth. Its growth does come from the ground, but it doesn't get unika from the ground. The unika gets from the air and not from the ground. Which one?
Zamit.
Where are you?
I don't know. Allah. Oh, Humi?
Oh, I skipped that. I'm sorry. I just was going on focusing on the kmein pitrios. It says over there, on salt, the bracha is shahako. On zamas is like brine, salt water, whatever, salt water. So and also on mushrooms, you say shahako. That means that it's not called gedula min haaretz. You said it is called gedula min haaretz. Abai says it grows from the ground, but it doesn't get the nika from the ground. It gets from the air. And the kovei by bracha is not gedula kaka; it's unika min kaka. But the kasha doesn't say that. And you're saying that it is Gedula min haaretz. The answer is Tani al davar she'en yonik min haaretz. Change the gersa here. And over there, when it says al davar she'en Gedula min haaretz, it really should be she'en yinikosa min haaretz omashako. If that's not yonik, even though that's where it grows, that's the location where it is, but it's not getting nutrition from the ground. You don't say then you say shako, and they don't get nutrition from the ground, but it does grow, so to speak. So Gedula karka it is called, but it's not yonika min karka. Yashikah, thank you.
Okay. Well, we started.